Who is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and why is he someone that the Cardinals should be very interested in coming this offseason? This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to always thank each and every one of you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube if you haven't gone there yet and you want a kind of a visual version of the show. You can do that on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment so you can interact with us. Hit the notification button. That way you know when your new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans of baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's show brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So a little bit of an odd weekend with no game on Sunday. That doesn't happen very often, but the Cardinals had the day off. They split their series against the Royals on Friday and Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit about that series coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll talk about Adam Wainwright. Don't worry. We'll get to that. But first, I want to talk about a name that it's starting to circulate a little bit more. And I noticed it in the media the last couple days. And then I saw this morning that there was something on STLtoday.com. And I was like, maybe the Locked On Cardinals listeners need a little update on who the heck is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, okay? Because you might not be familiar with him, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. I'm going to get you the information. So if you keep up on baseball and not just the Cardinals, you might be familiar with his name, but if you're not, no big deal. You probably, I don't know if you've seen his name during the WBC. Maybe that would spark a memory for you, but he's 24 years old. He's about to be 25 this week. In fact, I think it's Thursday, I think is his birthday. Anyway, right-handed pitcher from Japan. I'm gonna throw a picture up on the on YouTube there for you. So that's what he looks like. Not a big guy, 5'10", 177 pounds, but the dude has been a superstar in Japan for a number of years now. He's a 5-time All-Star over there. He's won the Pacific League MVP and the Sawamura Award, which is their version of the Cy Young Award here in the States. He's won both awards, the MVP and their Cy Young, each of the past two seasons, along with the Triple Crown for pitchers, which, if you're not familiar with that, wins, ERA, and strikeouts, okay? Doesn't happen very often in Major League Baseball, but he's done it the last 2 years. In 2021, he goes 18-5 with a 1.39 ERA, 206 strikeouts, and 193rd and 2/3 innings. Then in 2022, he goes 15-5, 1.68 ERA, with 205 strikeouts and 193 innings of work. Pretty darn consistent numbers there. He's thrown 4 no-hitters. He's been the ERA champ for 3 seasons. He's got 2 Gold Glove awards, knows how to field his position well. He won gold at the Olympics in 2020 with Japan. He won gold at the WBC this year, where he was 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA, led Japan with 12 strikeouts over 7 1/3 innings. For those of you who play MLB The Show, you've probably used his card on there. That's one that was very, very good in the early goings of that game. So far this season, Yamamoto is 12-4, 1.48 ERA, 125 strikeouts, and 122 innings. Basically more of the same of the dominance that he's shown throughout his career. And on top of all of the strikeouts, and you know how I feel about walks, right? If you're an everydayer, you know I'm a big proponent of not walking people. I'd rather see you give up hits and stuff than just put people on. He doesn't walk a lot of folks either. 40 walks in 2021, 42 last season. He's only got 16 thus far this season. Scouting report-wise, fastball sits mid-90s comfortably, but he can also rev it up to upper 90s, 97, 98, 99. Everybody just gushes over the splitter. The splitter is the big pitch that everybody just loves. They think it's amazing. They also love his curveball. He's got a very good one of those as well. They bring up a quick delivery to the plate, athleticism to field the position well. Got those gold gloves to show off for that. So what's not to like about this guy, right? Like he just seems like he's perfect. Sign us up. How do we get him in a Cardinals uniform? Well, that's where we get into the complicated issues when it comes to bringing people over from Japan. So what they do is they call it posting a player is what the term is. And there are some things you got to remember about this. So Steve Adams at MLB Trade Rumors did a really nice write-up about this, excuse me, back in February when people started discussing about whether or not he was going to be somebody who comes over in this offseason. So he wrote this, which, breaks down the situation. He'll be subject to the NPB MLB posting system, which grants all 30 teams equal rights to negotiate with the player, but subjects the signing team to what, in the case of Yamamoto, would be a particularly steep posting fee. The MLB club that eventually signs him would need to pay the Buffaloes, which is the team he's with, a fee that is equal to 20% of the contract's first $25 million, plus 17.5% of the next 25 and 15% of any dollars committed thereafter. And so he gives an example here. He says, on, say, a $150 million contract, a purely speculative number for the sake of this example, and one that could ultimately prove low, that'd come out to $24.375 million for the posting fee. That needs to be paid out to the Buffaloes, again, his team, in addition to the money guaranteed to Yamamoto. So this is on top of whatever you sign him to. Any additional earnings that come via contractual mechanisms like performance incentives, club options, etc., would also be subject to that 15% once the money becomes guaranteed. So not only do you got to pay the player, but you got to pay his team over in Japan so that you can have him. Does this sound like something that the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals that you and I know and love, does this sound like something they would get involved in? Not really. Not normally, I should say, because these are not normal times for the Cardinals, though. As we know, they stink this year. They're not good. 15 games under 500, I think, is where we're at right now. They weren't supposed to be this bad, but they are. That's the reality of it. And this offseason, the team has 3 ways that they can improve the pitching rotation, the pitching staff overall, including the bullpen. You can sign free agents. You can trade for people, or you can use the guys that you have within your system already. Now, that third route is what they did this past year and didn't work out so well, did it? So one would assume that means they're going to go drastically in the other direction, because to turn things around for 2024, those other 2 options are the quickest way to do it, right? You can't imagine, at least I can, that Mo would sit on his hands and that, ownership would sit on their hands and be like, well, we can go through another one of these seasons again, waiting for our prospects to jump up another level or 2. I just cannot fathom that is something they're thinking about. So they're probably looking for a quicker way to turn things around. Not saying they won't use the guys in their system, but they know that they've got to go out. Mo has repeatedly said it. They got to go out, and they're going to have to spend some money this year. How much money? We don't know. Benjamin Hockman over at STLtoday.com did the write-up this morning that I was talking about, and he got some quotes from Yamamoto's WBC teammate and current Cardinals outfielder, Lars Nootbaar. Remember him? Remember we were all in love with the fact that Nootbaar was hanging out with Shohei Ohtani a lot. He was also hanging out with guys like Yamamoto. This is what he had to say about him. He's a really good dude, a hard worker. Obviously, he's shoving over there. I mean, the velo is the velo, right? He's throwing 96, 99 over there. He's got the wicked splitter, and he's got a good breaking ball. He works hard, too. Smart guy, humble dude. I was very impressed with him off the field as well as, obviously, on the field. He threw against Mexico. I think he's going to be good. I really do. I think he's going to be one of those arms that are going to be highly sought after during this free agency. Okay. Well, through the words of one Lars Nootbaar, he's warning you. People are going to want him. So we're going to have what we like to call a bidding war for Yamamoto's services. Again, if he gets posted, that's not a guarantee yet. I haven't read that there is a guarantee that that's going to happen. It's likely, but we have to wait and see. So that way he can come over to the States. So do you believe the Cardinals would do what was needed, which Hochman points out could be $20 million a year? You saw in that, or I just read to you in that previous article, they were thinking 24, 25, somewhere in there. Do you think the Cardinals would put up that kind of money to get somebody as good as Yamamoto has been in Japan? The Mets just paid Kodai Senga 5 years and $75 million in addition to the posting fee. Yamamoto is going to be more than that. The Cardinals have had some success with pitchers coming over from Japan before, or I should just say Asia in general. You had, remember KK, Kwang Yun Kim, the last boss, Sung Hwan Oh. Heck, tonight starter Miles Michaelis. They brought him back to the States. He was over in Japan doing some good work, and the Cardinals went over there and got him. The big market teams are obviously going to have the advantage here because people are attracted to bigger cities. You know, when you come over from another country, what are the cities you talk about or know about? You know, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. You don't talk about St. Louis. That's not like a big place on the map for somebody who lives over in the East. So Mets and Red Sox have already been linked to Yamamoto, and I'm sure you'll see other teams get involved at some point. 25-year-old aces, they don't just fall out of trees. Well, this is kind of what's happening here, you know? He seems to be the real deal. And if you're going to, and this is how I think about it, if you're going to spend a lot of money on a free agent, top of the rotation type of guy this offseason, let's say you planned on, you're at least going to go out and buy one, right? If you were already going to do that for somebody that's already here in the league, and there's not a lot of them that are going to be available, but there's a few. Wouldn't you just rather spend that money on somebody like Yamamoto? Doesn't it make more sense than spending it, you know, being that he's 25, than spending on a guy that's 30 or older? Guys like Aaron Nola and Blake Snell and Max Scherzer, I mean, they're on the other side of 30 now. Yamamoto's bang right there in his prime. Plus, let's not forget what like the zap in the arm a move like this would be for the franchise, which has become a bit stale lately, especially when you're losing. Japanese baseball fans, we know they love to come out to the stadium and see their heroes play in the major leagues. Nationally, I mean, So Taguchi. Do you remember the coverage that So Taguchi used to get with the Cardinals when he was there? And he was just, you know, a utility guy. You know, he wasn't like a superstar. You know, nationally, you would have the spotlight just boom, right back on you after a 2023 season where nobody is talking about the Cardinals anymore post-trade deadline. Like, it's just dead air now. And hardly any of your hometown fans are coming out to watch you anymore. You've seen attendance at Busch Stadium. It is not good. So it wouldn't hurt to inject a little life into the franchise. And on paper, it makes perfect sense. But will the team spend enough of that other paper that we call dollars to get it done? That's the real question. So would love to hear your input. Drop a line down below on the comment section on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what you guys think about this. Is this something that you think the Cardinals will actually go for? Or do you think this is just something that's way out of their league and we should just move on from it? But at least now you know who this Yamamoto guy is and you got some background on him. We're going to recap the Royals series. We're going to touch on the Adam Wainwright situation. All coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with great deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over tickets and start getting excited for the fun you're about to have. I keep mentioning, NFL is so huge. And I went to a practice the other day and had to wait in line for an hour to get in. That's how crazy the NFL is and how crazy the fans are. And I'm sure if you're watching baseball, you're probably a fan of the NFL as well. And you got preseason games. You've got the regular season just around the corner as well. So make sure you're not left out in the cold. And you can get into these with great deals on last-minute tickets and that best price guarantee. It's available to you. You don't have to plan months in advance. I would recommend that you get them now, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event and exclusive flash deals on tickets for all your favorite events, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Doesn't matter. They got you covered. Tickets sent directly to your phone. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The Cardinals battle the Oakland A's tonight, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Thank you again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Every day, as you know all this, but for those of you who are just joining us, always feel free to leave your comments on YouTube and on Twitter, good or bad. You can tear apart the Cardinals if you want to. It's okay. We understand. It's been a rough season, but we love getting your feedback. It's always welcome and encouraged. The Cardinals split their 2-game series in Kansas City, and the big story from the weekend was unfortunately not a great story. It was the shelling of Adam Wainwright on Friday night. Waino gives up 4 runs in the first inning on 5 hits. He ends up coming out for the second inning, and things don't get any better. It's just as bad, if not worse, actually, because he comes out, doesn't record an out, gives up a homer, 2 singles, then another dinger. Ali Marmol comes out and yanks him. It's the second straight game that he's allowed 7 or more runs. His ERA this season is now at an unimaginable and frankly embarrassing 8.78. And as much as we all love Adam and everything that he's done for this organization, I think it's time to pull the plug on this whole situation. I'm not 200 wins, great, but how much more of this do we need to see to realize it's over? I know it's easier for me to say it than for people who have played with him for years or a manager like Ali. How he can say that to a living legend. Adam Wainwright will go down as one of the greatest pitchers in Cardinals history. And when I ranted about Waino earlier this year and how he's earned this extra leash and a chance to try and get right, I also said at some point, if it doesn't work, then you got to put a stop to it. I hate to say like, how you'd be with like an old horse, eventually you got to take it out back and it's time to euthanize it because it's not, the quality of life is not good, and we're not getting a good quality of life here out of Adam Wainwright, the pitcher. They've tried everything with him. They've given him shots into his body to help him through the pain and the irritation that he'd been dealing with. And for all things we've heard from Adam Wainwright, he felt so much better after that. But the results are the results. The plain and simple truth is that none of this is working. It's just not working. He spoke with the media after the game and said, what's playing into me a little bit, and I'm hesitant to admit it, and I've heard this from older guys who have retired, but when you're done, you could lose an edge. I was really resistant to that because I thought I would fight like crazy to the end, but I'm going to have to refocus and get serious about ending strong. Get serious, Adam, my man. It's the middle of August. What are we talking about? What do you mean get serious? Have we not been serious? Does this imply that you were not serious this whole year? I find that hard to believe. I just think, honestly, Adam Wainwright is out of excuses. He doesn't have any answers for why he is just not the pitcher that he once was. Like, he hit a wall last year, and we hope that things would bounce back and he'd be better this season, and it's been worse. He's dealt with injuries, but his stuff has just fallen off a cliff. Like, sometimes it happens. You had your shot, man. You did. The Cardinals and your teammates have given you 15 starts this season, and it's not really fair to them to keep rolling them out there when these are the results. Like, these games aren't even competitive. It'd be different if he was giving you 5 innings, gave up 3 or 4 runs. I think you might be able to live with that. But these last couple games are just, my gosh. I mean, you had the good game against the Diamondbacks on July 24th, but you got to go back to June 17th before you get a game where he gave up 3 runs or less. I don't want to quit on Adam Wainwright. I don't want to be that guy. We love Adam Wainwright. We think he's fantastic. But I can't watch this anymore. It's painful. Have you seen Twitter when Adam Wainwright takes the mound? Everybody is just like, oh, please have a good game for Adam. And then we get this, and everybody's like, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Now, credit to the team on Friday night, despite falling behind 9-0. They did mount a comeback. They got it back to 9-6 at one point, so that was nice to see. Wilson Contreras had a huge night. That dude continues to mash. Are they gonna? What do you guys think about that? Do you think they're gonna make him the DH that also catches next year? Do you think that's what's going on here? Do you think they're gonna do 3 catchers, and then Wilson will be like? I mean, Kisner might end up being like the guy that catches more games just because the rotation just seems to respond to him better. And then just have Wilson as your DH. I mean, it's expensive DH, but what else are you going to do? Bring Jovan Herrera up as well? And I don't know. I'm curious, though. I wonder if that's what their plan might be right now. Zach Thompson looked good again. Palante did not. He's had a terrible year. Cards fall 12-8 on Friday. Saturday, though, you get a big night from Tommy Edman. And as a husband, I know this probably felt really good because it was his wife's birthday on Saturday. So he pops 2 dingers, giving him 10 on the season on his wife's birthday. That's pretty cool. Steven Matz, oh man, continues to shine. Going 6 innings, allows 2 runs on 4 hits. He whiffs 5. I get it's the Kansas City Royals, but Matz is he's doing such a good job lately. Last 4 straight, 4 straight quality starts. Let me just give you this. 4 straight quality starts for Matz in his last 5 starts. 4-0, 1.24 ERA, 25 Ks, and just 4 walks. Whatever you're eating, Steven Matz, or drinking, or watching, or whatever the hell you're doing that turned this whole season around for you, whether it's just the lack of pressure on you because the team's not very good, whatever's going on, keep doing it because he has looked tremendous, and we could use a guy like that in the rotation next year. Dylan Carlson goes back on the IL. I'm going to talk about that, plus the updates on Jake Woodford and Ryan Helsley coming up on Locked on Cardinals. The Cardinals are back home to face the Athletics tonight with Miles Michaelis on the hill. You can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. The injury-riddled Dylan Carlson back down again. This time, we got ourselves a left oblique strain for the former first-round pick who, like Tyler O'Neill, continues to struggle to stay on the field. And the problem with Dylan Carlson, too, is like he is not producing in general anymore anyway. Carlson hasn't played since Wednesday of last week. Gets placed on the 10-day IL retroactive to August the 10th. Said he felt something after a swing during his first at-bat on Wednesday against Tampa Bay. Wouldn't go away after that, so he let the training staff know. They did some imaging, and it's not good. It's going to take some time. It's the second time that Carlson, who was hitting just 162 over his past 30 games, has been placed on the IL this season. Like I said, a couple of weeks before a possible return. If he gets back, he gets back. If he doesn't, so what? The good news is my guy, Luken Baker, back up on the big club. I don't know if you know this, but he continues to shred at AAA. 334, 33 bombs, 98 RBIs in 84 games. Ridiculous numbers. And hopefully we'll actually get some playing time this time around with the team and not just being brought up to be a big old cheerleader over there on the bench like his previous 2 stints in the big leagues this year where he got 19 total at bats. Come on, guys. Let him play. Let him play. It's not going to hurt to let him play. I want to see Walker, Newbar, and O'Neill in the outfield, Contreras catching, Arenado at third, Edman at short, Gorman at second, and then Goldie and Baker playing first and DHing. That's what I want. That's what I want to see this week. Burleson is your left-handed bat off the bench, can get in that outfield rotation when one of those dudes needs a day off. Tyler O'Neill is going to get hurt at some point again. You know it's going to happen. There you go. Burleson goes in. Fermin and Mater, those are your bench boys. There's no need for them to play unless somebody is tired. But that's the way it should be, in my opinion, this week. Make it happen. Let Baker eat. Ryan Helsley has made 3 appearances now with Springfield, AA Springfield, after getting roughed up on Thursday night. He did throw a scoreless inning with 1 walk and a strikeout on Sunday. Jake Woodford also pitched and allowed 1 run on 3 hits while striking out 3 in 2 innings of work. That run came on another home run, which He gave up one of those in his first appearance on Thursday as well. So get the ball down, Woody. Also, I saw this over the week and I was like, what? The Arizona Diamondbacks have designated catcher Carson Kelly for assignment. Do you remember Carson Kelly? Because I do. There was a one point that MLB Pipeline had Carson Kelly rated as the #1 catching prospect in Major League Baseball. He was in the Cardinals system. We're all very excited about it, but we had that guy named Yadier Molina who never took a day off. So the Cardinals decided to make a move. He was a big piece of the trade to Arizona, along with pitcher Luke Weaver and infielder Andrew Young for Mr. Paul Goldschmidt, your rating NL MVP. Just so you know how that trade worked out, Young played in 70 MLB games for the Diamondbacks in 2020 and 2021, hitting .205 before being lost in the Rule 5 draft at the end of the season. Weaver had a 2.94 ERA in 12 starts in 2019, but then saw a lot of injuries, elbows, shoulder injuries. He's now with the Reds. For some reason, that guy is in their rotation still. He's 2-4 with an ERA of almost 7. But they keep putting him out there, even though the Reds are trying to win the NL Central. That's who's in their rotation right now. Carson Kelly hits .230 over 5 seasons with Arizona with little consistent power. And when the team traded for Gabriel Moreno from the Blue Jays this past offseason, you kind of knew it was just a matter of time before they moved on from him. But I'm going to go ahead and chalk this one up as a victory for the Cardinals and in the trades. I'm going to go ahead and say they won that one for Paul Goldschmidt. Yay, Mo! You got one, dude. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Be sure to catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast for the series against the A's. Again, begins tonight. Sirius XM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. You got Miles Michaelis on the mound against the 2-9 J.P. Sears. First pitch is at 6:45 St. Louis time from Busch. Oakland is the worst team in baseball. There's no reason the Cardinals should not sweep them. So a loss to Oakland would be kind of the cherry on top of what's been a poop-tastic season. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.